Number 13. Erica. Starting off our countdown is none other than the beauty of her name, Princess Erica. Winter Erica is our very first armored healer unit to be introduced into Fire Emblem Heroes. And as I mentioned before, simply because she is placed this slowly on my list doesn't make her a bad unit. In fact, she's one of the better healer units of the entire game. As an armored unit, she does carry a good amount of bulk and a high attack stat. However, she does lack speed if anything. Her only weaknesses are her mediocre speed stat and the lack of mobility, thus relying on Armor March or on the Armor Boot seal. Her staff weapon, Joyous Lantern, grants an ally with the highest attack stat a boost to their defense and resistance by 5 points. She can also be sweet father food in case you need to give another unit the Dazzling Staff or attack opening abilities. Her slight over-reliance in armor team cuts her ability to be in non-armor teams, but fear not, Winter Erica's beauty and grace is more than enough to bring joy to the hearts of many. Number 12. Jafar. That face says it all. This is perhaps unusual for the Angel of Death to wear, but do not underestimate this assassin however, regardless of what he wears. Winter Jafar is our second Winter TT reward unit, and surprisingly a Green Dagger unit this time. As what you might expect from a free unit, he lacks the ability to acquire boons to enhance his potential. However, Jafar is an armor unit, and like many other armor units before him, he's still pretty good despite that setback. His attack and speed stat, combined with the ability to learn the overpowered bold or eventual fighter skills, can spread terror to the hearts of many if unprepared. He won't be tanking many hits due to his low defense and resistance stats, thus making him a viable glass cannon fighter. He may not look like the part of a festive guy, but for Nino, as long as she's happy, he is too. Good guy Jafar indeed.
Number 11. Robin. You were probably wondering why I haven't introduced a Gen 1 unit yet. Well, for 2 reasons. 1, it is my personal list, and 2, Winter Robin is actually a decent unit even to this day. The Elysian Tactician surely prepared himself for the holidays, especially since he was the first winter units to be introduced to FEH in the winter of 2017. Sporting the Saint Nick attire, Winter Robin has a 34 and 35 attack and speed stat respectively, enough to carry himself against other units in the game. His 10 and boom weapon is decent, but I clearly think that other weapons like the Slaying Lance, Vanguard, and Harmonic Lance, just to name a few, are just better in general. His base kit is really good too since he has Armor March, crucial for Armor Emblem teams, and introduced us to our very first Brazen skill, Brazen Attack and Speed. He may not be as bulky or monstrous as other winter units on the list, but Winter Robin is still a solid unit regardless, thanks to his above average stats and his access to powerful armor skills. I can't be the only one to think that Robin would make a perfect Santa Claus. Now only if he had a beard. Perfect. Number 10. Lisa. Yet another unit that was introduced in the 2017's edition of the Winter Festival. Winter Lisa was also responsible for introducing a game-changing skill in favor of armor units, Bold Fighter. Not only is she a good father, but she is an overall solid unit with an average speed stat of 30, a 35 and 34 defensive res stat respectively, and a neutral attack of 34. With those kind of stats, she can utilize the distant counter skill with full effectiveness and make use of her bold fighter skill, regardless of her lack of speed. She is better off with other axe weapons in order to maximize her potential as an offensive or defensive unit. Even to this day, she's still a solid unit, and do not call her delicate. You will be destroyed if unprepared. Number 9. Cecilia. Christmas boobies! Winter Cecilia is definitely a sexy gift that keeps on giving. Not only that, but she is also a free unit. She was in fact our very first TT unit within this theme, and my goodness, she's one of the better ones too. Not only is she a hot mamacita, but her stats are rather impressive as well, sporting a neutral 35 attack stat and 30 and 35 defense and res stat. Winter Cecilia can perfectly function as an offensive or defensive unit. With the plethora of skills available in the game, it's not too hard to make this lovely dame an effective unit despite having no boons. Her key weapon, Goody Boot, is an exceptional weapon she can utilize along with her busted armor skills available in the game. Whether you decide to make her into a player, enemy, or mixed face unit, Cecilia is ready to rock the holidays with her badassery and beauty. Number 8. Kromm. The second Green Axe unit introduced in the 2017's Winter Edition. Winter Kromm wastes no time to challenge Robin for that Santa Claus spot. Quite frankly, Kromm shares identical traits as his younger sister Lisa, only that he has a higher attack stat of a whooping 40 and extra points to his HP stat. When an attack stat that high, it comes to no surprise that he has a great candidate for the Brave Axe, thanks to the access to Bold Fighter. He can also use Worry Fighter in case he wants to avoid being plummeted by faster units due to his abysmal speed stat. You can also try to work with his defensive bulk and grant him DC and Vengeful Fighter just to apply ridiculous damage when triggering an Ignis or Dragon Fan special. This man has the muscles to give a season's beatings to anyone who dares crosses his path, while trying to give presents to those who have been a good boy or girl. Nevertheless, Winter Kromm is an exceptional unit that will perform well under any conditions. Number 7. Zephyl. Young Zephyl, the good, before being abused, traumatized, nearly killed, and soon to be cold-blooded tyrant boy marks his surprising debut in the 2019's Winter banner. The Prince of Burn, much like his future self, shares similar qualities when it comes to their primary stats. They're both slow and have impressive defensive stats. However, it shouldn't come to any surprise that Winter Zephyl is much stronger than his older self. He has a higher attack stat and has an impressive rest stat, something that King Zephyl truly lacks. Having an attack, defense, or res boon would help the young prince to become a formidable force against his opponents. His only few downsides is that he is vulnerable against faster units thanks to his low speed stat. He lacks a good sword outside of the generic ones such as Slaying Edge, Will Dowering, etc., and the heavy reliance in Armor March to prove effectiveness in battle. Thanks to his bulk, he'll be able to take a few hits against melee or long-range units and retaliate back with a punch. Quite a surprising entry to Fade, to be honest, but we should be thankful for it. I do hope this version of the Prince of Burn does become a different leading figure of peace and sincerity. If only. Number 6. Nino. It should be of no surprise that if Jafar is part of the Winter Festival, then Nino would be part of it too. This cheery mage has brought us a wonderful gift indeed. Just look at that speed stat. 41 is the new average speed stat in my opinion, trust me. She's not the only one. All I can really say about Winter Nino is that she seems to be much frail compared to the other units. Much like Jafar, she can excel as a sweeper thanks to her ridiculous speed stat. She is also a top candidate for the Blar Blade Tome and for the Blar Serpent Tome due to her respectable rest stat. Let's not forget that she is an armored unit. Pretty obvious that every unit within this team is an armored unit. So she can apply her already impressive stats with the overpowered armor exclusive skills available. Nino is definitely doing her best to become one of the most overpowered units in the game. She truly deserves to be happy. Number 5. Faye. From one happy girl to another, Winter Faye is our very first winter armored dragon unit within this holiday theme, and she doesn't disappoint one bit. This glorifying chicken is a green armored dragon unit with incredible base stats and that can help her fend off opponents regardless of melee or long range attackers. She has a whooping 41 neutral res stat, which makes her the second unit with the most res in Faye. Not only that, but her physical bulk is also worth mentioning since it's not terrible and she can use both her defensive and res stats to ward off attackers. You can either choose to give her distant counter or lightning breath to check long range enemies and hit hard with Vengeful Fighter. You can practically build her by focusing on her defenses since her attack stat is not that bad at all. If you happen to pull an attack boon Winter Faye, you're good to go. Just be wary since she is in fact a dragon unit. she is extremely vulnerable to dragon slaying weapons, mainly falchions. And let's not forget about armor slayers as well. Other than that, Winter Face should do just fine regardless of the build you chose her to have. But really now, why would anyone want to hurt her when she's doing a face like this? Jeez, it reminds me of that particular Tempest trial when she was the main boss. And I felt really bad every single time I had to take her down. What have we done? Number 4. Tharja. I still can't figure out as to why Tharja wearing a bikini is considered having armor. Just look at this. This is apparently an armor unit? But anyways, going back to the main topic. Winter Tharja was our first armored red mage unit, and she did make quite an impact when she was introduced to Fae. No, not down there guys. But really, as scalding hot as she truly looks, she was and still is an outstanding unit. Thanks to her impressive bulk and base kit, she is already one of the best vengeful fighters in the entire game. Since she already comes with close counter, a skill that's insanely hard to acquire, all she needs is an effective tome. That's where the blade or raven tome comes into play. Or if you decide that you want to father off her skills once again, I can't blame you, so her skills are highly valuable. If you decided to keep her, cherish her because she's still arguably one of the best armor units of all Fae. Seriously, I won't complain. She can hex me all she wants for admiring her sexiness, but I just can't see this attire to have any armored qualities. Where? How? Why? This is just giving me a headache. Moving on. Number 3. Ephram. Winter Ephram, the edgelord at his finest. Why do I say that? Well, if you happen to take a quick look at what he offers, you should know what I mean. He carries the Festive Sigmund, and this version of his legendary weapon offers stat boost as long as he is away from his allies. Also, he comes with attack and defense solo skill, which enhances his attack and defense by 6 additional points when fighting solo. Again, edgelord at his finest. Well, now he has some stiff competition now that Edelgard came into Fae. I honestly would love to see those two clash. The clash of the edgelords. Fae, make it happen. Anyways, Winter Ephram does also come with a powerful bullfighter and a handy close guard, which is a bunch of toys at his disposal and doesn't require heavy investment since his base kit is excellent as it is. His attack stack almost reaches to 60 and he has enough physical bulk to fend off any unwary opponents. He does need to be careful from mages since he truly lacks speed and resistance. Winter Ephram is an excellent heavy hitter and deserves to be ranked this high on my list, thanks to his offensive prowess and lack of heavy investment. Winter Erica must be so proud of her dear brother. Not that that means something else. Come on guys, not the incest jokes again. Ugh. Number 2. Sophist. The last two on my list can be switched around due to the fact that both units are just miles away better than any other unit within this theme. However, Sophist is placed on the number 2 spot on my list and it has nothing to do with her patas. Winter Sophist is by far one of the strongest armored dragon units in the game, along with Nagi, Idun, and legendary Tiki. Sophist is an exceptional unit and dare I say that she has a neutral speed of 41. Yes, 41. Like I mentioned before, 40 plus speed is now the new average speed in Fae. She also has perhaps one of the best kits of all Fae, which includes Cyrus, Distant Counter, Special Fighter, and Threatened Attack Res. Not to mention that her weapon grants her additional stat boost and immunity to dragon affected weapons as long as she has 50% or more HP. That's quite bonkers in my books. Unfortunately, her physical defense is quite lackluster and she's terribly vulnerable against armor destroyer weapons such as armor smashers or tawny weapons. She is quite arguably one of the best armor units in the game, and if you happen to get a speed or attack boon Winter Sophist, keep her. She makes certain challenge maps extremely easy and will be a pain for others to take down. I know there were some peeps that were trigger seeing that Sophist was wearing footwear this time around because, you know, patas, 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 patas. Quack, quack. Yeah, that's why. Number 1. Marth. There's just one reason as to why I place Winter Marth above Sophist, and that reason alone is that he is a dual hero, and not only that, he also offers a chock full of goods whether you decide to keep him or not. I'm sure many of you have mistaken his partner to being Chequea, myself included, but it's actually his sister Elise. This is the 4th dual hero introduced to Fire Emblem heroes, and Winter Marth is by far the best one out of the 4. This incredible 41 speed stat offers the possibilities for him to nuke just about anything that crosses his path. His trademark bow, Tansgrisner, I'm sure that's how you say it, grants him 3 additional speed points because why not? And if he is granted any bonuses such as armor march or rally skills of such, he gains even more additional stat boosts and a cooldown towards his specials. He also comes with awesome skills such as attack and speed form, Daring Fighter, Joining Hone Speed, and his exclusive special Fire Emblem. Heroes! Anyways, his dual effect grants him and any allied armor or flying unit 3 additional points to every stat and a bonus double effect to everyone as well. Talk about bringing power creep to a whole new level. And people thought that the winter units introduced in the 2017's Winter Edition were too much. Well, this is a gacha game after all, guys, and that, my fellow fanatics, is why Winter Marth is the best winter unit to this day.